Welcome to my new calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel. In this video, I would just like to have a relaxed chat about several topics in mathematics and just whatever comes to mind as I go along. There are so many things I'd like to talk about. It's very difficult to find enough time so that I can produce a video on each particular topic. In fact, I think that even if I worked 24 hours a day, 55 years wouldn't be enough to explain and to share the information and knowledge that I've gleaned or discovered. So at any rate, let me quickly just show you how you can access most of the information on the new calculus. So first of all, there is the main new calculus site, and this is it. On this site here, I give an introduction to the new calculus and explain what it is and how it varies from the mainstream calculus. I also produce links to a lot of articles I've written, and here's a link to the articles, to the dynamic applets, to the new calculus course, the applet course, and the YouTube videos. So wherever you hover over a word and there's a little hand, it means you can click on that, and that's usually an article or a video. You can read through this page and study everything that's on here. I also deal with the 13 main fallacies of mainstream mathematics. And once you get through this page, which it'll take you a very long time because I've written hundreds of articles and produced hundreds of videos, then you could easily go to the official page, which is this page here. And you can even join my new calculus group if you wish, and this is where you would join the group. There are 3 sites. There's one in English, Chinese, and German. So the new calculus is available in all these languages. And there's also a very interesting article here, which I think every student of mathematics should read, because I don't think anyone can understand calculus unless they read this article. And I don't believe that anyone who came before me has my understanding. I started out pretty young, and on the way I learned a lot of things, mostly on my own. And so I've written a lot of articles on these topics, on both calculus, on real analysis, on limits, and various other topics that are contentious or that there is some disagreement in mathematics. So that's how you can get most of the information on the new calculus. The new derivative here discusses the formulation of the new derivative, gives you a GeoGebra applet wherever you see .ggb. I only use GeoGebra because it's free and anybody can download it. And I also have several articles, and of course the debate with Anders Kaysorg of MIT. That's very important. And also the new integral, which is discussed on this page, and the first ever constructive proof of the mean value theorem, which was created by me. This proof here helps you to understand why calculus works. In fact, the fundamental theorem of calculus is not really the one that you're acquainted with. The fundamental theorem of calculus is the mean value theorem, because what you're acquainted with is derived in one step from the mean value theorem. Of course, you'll have to read all my articles, and especially the one on the proof of the mean value theorem, to find out why that is the case. So in this graphic here, what you see is the entire single variable new calculus summarized. Yes, it's as simple as this. So this here is the new calculus integral definition. See, no infinity, no limits, no nonsense. Simply sound mathematics. And this here is actually equal to the definite integral, which is formulated incorrectly using limits in the mainstream calculus. And that's the starting point for all the new calculus articles and videos and applets. Now, I'd like to talk about articles I've written on LinkedIn. So if you go to my LinkedIn page, you'll see many articles. I've written on a lot of different topics, on computer programming, on mathematics, on physics, on other topics that have nothing to do with either mathematics or physics or engineering. And of course, the majority of them are on mathematics because that's what I'm interested in. So you can actually go to my LinkedIn site and read these articles. They're very well written, and you can get a lot of information that you won't get anywhere else on any other site. So this is just a brief introduction then to my articles on LinkedIn, and I encourage you to go ahead and read them. Now, in 2016, I had a particularly bad year, and that's when the series on this topic was created. There are no axioms or postulates in mathematics. For hundreds of years, incompetent academics who couldn't understand Euclid's Elements decided that they were going to call certain concepts or certain statements axioms. Of course, this was a huge mistake, because there are no axioms or postulates in mathematics. Did you know that neither of those words appear in Euclid's Elements? And the ancient Greeks didn't think that there were axioms or postulates. Every one of their concepts was well-formed and is derived from nothing in a very perfect way. Now, excuse me, you have to remember that Euclid was writing these things down for the first time. So it wasn't that easy for him to write it down correctly. He does have some circular definitions, which I've obviously fixed in my new elements, that have not been published and probably won't be published because I've been labeled a crank by the stupid bastards in mainstream academia. But you can read these articles and decide for yourself what the truth is and whether they make sense or not. So in the first part of these articles, part one, in the first article, part one, I discuss the introduction. So we're dealing with the straight line. If you look at Euclid's Elements, we go back to book one. Let's go to definitions. So it says a line is a length without breadth, etc., etc. And we get down to the postulates, which over here, and it says, let it have been postulated. That's not even in the Greek, by the way. That's incorrectly translated. Itisto, on the left-hand side here, you'll see this word here. It says, itisto, από παντός σημείου, επί παν σημείων, ευθείαν γραμμήν αγάγειν. Nowhere in that sentence does the word postulated appear. and it says, let it have been postulated to draw a straight line from any point to another point. Well, none of these are postulates. And that is what I prove to you in these articles. Okay? So start off with Article 1. It's not very long, actually. It's very short. And I'll show you how you can systematically define all these geometric objects on which is based the entire knowledge that we have of mathematics. Not only geometry, not only algebra, not only calculus, trigonometry. Everything is based on these notions because numbers are derived from these ideas. Algebra is derived from these ideas. In fact, everything you have today in terms of technology comes from these ideas. So it's vitally important for you to understand that there are no axioms or postulates. Very well. In fact, in the Greek they're called etimata. Okay, and that word etimata is a plural for the word requirements or requirement. There are 5 etimata, and they're not postulates and they're not axioms. So I dedicated this series to Richard Elsens. He was a stranger who helped me last year. In fact, I probably wouldn't be recording this if he hadn't helped me. So he's not only a very intelligent man who has over 30 patents to his name, and of course we don't agree on all academic theories, but we have common ground on many topics. So Richard is a unique man, and I thank Richard for his help and dedicate this series to him. So read through these 5 articles because I deal with all the so-called axioms, and part 5 is the conclusion. So, by the way, parallel lines are actually defined in part 4. There's no axiomatic or postulate ideas in the definition of parallel lines. I define everything systematically from scratch. And I encourage you to read these articles. If you have any questions, you can email me. My email can be found right down here at the bottom of my new calculus page. Please do not ask more than one question at a time because I cannot write long emails or long responses. And I usually try to respond to every email I receive. Of course, if you send me an email with an attitude, I'll just delete it, and I'll probably ban you from my YouTube channel if you place a comment on there that shows that you're an ignorant moron, because I have no time for morons and fools. So I'd advise you to think very carefully before you write. Don't write to me with an attitude, please, because I'll just piss and shit on you, as they say. Okay? Very good. Now, I think that's about all I wanted to discuss in this chat. I hope you've enjoyed this little casual presentation and that you'll join me again soon in another video where I'll focus on particular topics that I want to debunk in the mainstream or more new calculus videos. Actually, I've spent so much time debunking the rot in mainstream, which I could have been spending on developing new calculus videos. This is the New Calculus channel, and I'm John Gabriel. Till next time, goodbye.